Yes, so good day and welcome once again to the talk. It's always a pleasure being here. Now, here I am thinking about R. Kelly. R. Kelly is found guilty of all the charges that were meted out to him, of things that happened years and years ago. And here I am thinking about Bill Cosby. And I should mention that that happened to a lot of other folks. Women out of the blue just pop up from your past like some ghosts of Christmas past. Some of the women you hardly could remember them. And they will just pop out from nowhere and accusing you for stuff you can't even remember. And for some reason, the judge and juries always seems to find themselves favoring these women. Whether they find them lying or the things that they're saying is virtually impossible, these women always find favor with them. Well, I don't know who is the person that coined that phrase, the law is an ass. I didn't. But I would say that in many cases, the law of the land is a jackass. Because think about it for a moment. A man and a woman could have a relationship and the relationship could end. Whatever that relationship is. They had sex, yes, we know. And that is something that will be undeniable once they have a relationship. But what if that woman is angry after years and years of this hatred festering inside her? And she decides she had enough time and she decided, well, she'll get back at this fella because, in her sick, twisted mind, she think that he had done something wrong to her. And she know she will find favor within the court. So she come along and she accused the guy for sexually assaulting her. You understand? Now, the truth of the matter is, he would not deny that they had sex because he would know they had sex. But then she would say that that sex was not consensual. You understand what I'm saying? But the fact that he admit that they had sex and she's saying that the sex is not consensual, and most of the time, or all of the time, the court seems to favor the woman, then they will find the man guilty and he's wrong, right? But that is premeditated. You see, there is something I realize that if you and somebody in a conflict and at the same time you damage the person, let's say you stab the person, in defense of yourself, right? You do the person something, you find yourself in court, then there is a whole possibility that you may get off, right? Or they may be very lenient with you. But then if you go and you come back with something and you damage the person, they will pelt all the books in the courthouse at you because the word is premeditated. Once you premeditate it, that means you plan it and you execute it. So the question is, why are these women, you see, why are these women coming before the court after years to accuse people of sexual deviance, sexual assault, and the judge will find himself convicting this person that are accused? All the time, the so-called crime has been committed. The women were there enjoying themselves. Oh yeah, in many cases. You can't tell me that a crime is being committed to you, on your person, and then you wait 10, 15 years before you admit that a crime is committed to you. When most of the time you deliberately find yourself in the place of the so-called crime. They didn't kidnap you. You know, most of the time you have a relationship with a person. That's crazy. That's mad. That's that's wicked, because you, out of your anger for that person, you could go and premeditate that, which I do believe that is what happens. Now, recently I was reading an article. I can't remember the guy name, but he actually is a celebrity, and he and a woman had been together. They had a consented relationship, consensual relationship. They were together, and she said she fell in love with him the instant. Okay, she saw him, she fell in love. They had consensual relationship, sex and everything, but in her mind, she's thinking that maybe most of the sex that they have, it wasn't consented. She was saying that um, he did sexual things to her that was basically violent, you know. But then she took years, and 2, 3 years after the breakup, long after the breakup, that was never reported. And then she's saying that, and she's also trying to prove that he had her under some mental duress. In that sense, he was controlling her. That is stupidness. That is foolishness. The point I am making here is that a judge will still by that and show her compassion and maybe charge the guy. You understand what I'm saying? I'm thinking that if a crime is being committed, you are in a relationship with somebody, they should rectify this law. If a crime is committed, let's say your husband bang your head against the wall. When it happened, the first opportunity you get, you have to report it to the police. You report that crime maybe in the first 48 or 72 hours. If somebody rape you, if your husband rape you, you don't wait until he turn old and gray, you know, like Bill Cosby, to just come and look at him now and let people look at him as a nasty old man that raped you during those times 50 years ago. You don't do that. 72 hours, I don't bother come. They should rectify that, because all this foolishness about people controlling you, mentally controlling you, like you don't have a brain of your own, you can't think for yourself. This person controlling you like you are a little remote control or something. They could turn you off and switch you on. I look at that as foolishness. You understand? Most women do get abused in their relationship, and it's not like they can't leave. But if you ask them to leave, there are always reason for them to stay. They would always give you some form of reason why they stay. That is consciousness. So then, if for some reason you spend your time in your relationship, you get abused, and they ask you, so why did you stay? You must have some reason why you stayed in the relationship. And that is a conscious reason. So why bring it up now? You understand? People have a way of looking back in their life and looking at the things that they had done, this nasty shit that they have done. And instead of them go to the Most High and ask for forgiveness, to forgive them for the things that they had done, they want to get back at people who, in their mind, they think had caused them to do it. But then every individual have to realize that at that time in your life, you was as nasty as the person. That is, if you are accusing them of what they did all after all these years, you were at that time as nasty and wicked as them. So why is it that you all of a sudden you decide that you are righteous and you have a right to be clean? That is stupid. Because even even in movies they show you this foolishness. You know, instead of you forgive somebody, you think you will get peace if you punish them. You know, if the law kill them, if the law lock them up, if they die, you don't get no peace that way. You just compound your foolishness. There are times in anger and frustration, things happen and then you respond. And when you respond, you take revenge or whatever you do. You understand? But that is at the moment. But the mere fact that you will go and ponder on it, you meditate on it, you sleep on it, you dream on it, you wake on it. You know, you basically review it in your mind for years. You understand? You review it in your mind how to get back at that person. Yeah, that is wickedness, and that's the absolute truth. You just portray in wickedness. A man like R. Kelly, who they accuse for so much things, they paint him in such a dirty way that, like if he is the most dirty guy. You see, when people out to destroy you in this wicked world, it's a terrible thing. You know, but that's okay still. You know, everybody have their day, which will soon come, right? So the whole thing about it is that they portray him as the most wicked person that ever lived, basically. Now they bring him guilty, you see, and they would sentence him. Who knows? Maybe he might never come out in prison again, you see, and that's the problem. But then the point is now, even if he is in prison, then what do these people gain by that? What do they gain? 5 years from now, they'll come up and say that they are sorry. You know, 5 years from now, when the conscience start pricking them again and asking themselves, what have I done? Then the conscience will come pricking them, and then they will be trying to rectify the nasty shit that they had done. Let me tell you something. Everything I did in my past, some ugly shit, and I've done some ugly shit. I was no saint. I've done things that I'm not really proud of, but then at the end of the day, I know all that makes me, you know, and all that is part of my growth. Regardless of whether I was on the receiving or the giving, it don't make no difference to me. It all made sense at the end. You see, so I'm not gonna be here and looking to testify and accusing people and trying to make a money off of people because of things that was done to me or me doing certain things in the past. I wouldn't go down that road. If I look back and there are things that I feel that is some nasty stuff, you understand, I say, I can remember doing that nasty piece of shit, you know, or something like that. I wouldn't go dwelling in the past and thing. I will make sure, well, okay, well, that seems as though it's in my system. I will flush it out. Simple. It have guys and thing who I punch in the head. It have guys who basically like punch me in my head, and I wouldn't sit down and think about it and say, no, I have to get back to this guy. No. You live, you chew it up and you spit it out. And leave it alone. Move on. Look at a brand new life. You know? But it's not so in this world. Everybody want payback. Everybody have this ego. Everybody have to feel this void that they have within them. When all you have to do is to share a little love to heal yourself. You see, most people like to say when they lock up somebody who do them wrong, or they hang somebody who do them wrong, these people have this way of saying that and now let the healing begin. The healing would never begin. It would never happen. Never. You see, and that is why some people so messed up and screwed up in this world, because most of them thinking that for them to feel better you have to get hurt. If you hurt somebody, you hurt somebody, or somebody hurt you, do you think hurting back the person will actually heal your hurt? It would never happen. Never. And when I say never, never. You understand? You'll be living a delusion. You always have this hurt, and that hurt will stay there with you permanent. It will never heal. You see? Because hurting the hurt won't heal. You understand? Most of the time, you have to soothe it, and you could only soothe it with love and forgiveness, not by getting back to people. You understand? I found myself in situations where it was easy for me to get back at people, and I was basically hurt, which they couldn't have known, but I was really hurt. But then when I had the opportunity, I had a choice to make whether to continue the hurt or to start healing, you know. I just knew that if I paid back what they did to me, if I tried to hurt them because they hurt me, I just get to that revelation that I would never heal. I don't know. But somehow I forgive and I show love. And that is how I healed. You see, you have to understand that. Most people doesn't understand. Most people, I don't know what you always be thinking, reading the Bible, but all you doesn't understand. All you could quote scriptures, but all you don't know. So let me tell you our next part. You remember when Saul wanted to kill David? Yes, Saul wanted to kill David. David was his best man, but he wanted to kill David out of envy. But then that night in the cave, David got the opportunity to kill Saul. Yes, instead of that, what he did, he just cut out a piece of his garment. He said, no, I won't kill him, because if he had killed him, that wouldn't have changed anything within David. You see, killing him was one. He could have just killed him and just be king. But the point is, why would he kill him? You see, you could become king, but you see in your heart, you will be wounded in your heart permanently, forever. David knew that. So what David did, David showed forgiveness. David showed love. And then if you recall, as I might have recalled, that after that action, things start looking different. And that is when David showed himself, not exactly the only time, but he shown a level of maturity that was not expected of anybody. If Saul had found himself in that position, he may have killed David. If you find yourself in that situation, you might kill the person. But then in everything in this life, there is a wisdom. There is always a wisdom in your decisions, and that is one of the reasons the world are so messed up, because everything people are doing is going against what they were created to be and how they were created to function. So people is out of sync. They're out of sync, you see. And we could only find ourselves in sync if we take a time off. Take a time off and watch ourselves very closely. Most of the times you make certain move and the move might appear to be a losing move, but that is the winning move. You see, the winning move always comes camouflage. You doesn't see the power of the real power. No, it does appear as though it is weak, and there lies its greatest strength. You see, most people think that if they exalt themselves and try to exalt themselves over the enemies, yes, exactly who they think is the enemies, people who may be the adversaries, they have to exalt themselves over them to crush them, then they get some form of victory. No, you don't. That is not a victory. That is a loss. You see, that is a loss. So when I see people like Bill Cosby and I'm being accused by people, and I look at those people, I just only wonder if these people just have time to think about themselves. But at the end of the day, they doesn't really. You see, they doesn't really. They pity themselves, and that is terrible. And they cry because of things that they have done in the past, and looking back at it, they can't face it. They doesn't have the strength, they doesn't have the wisdom, they doesn't have the know-how to face the things that they have done. They don't know how to get rid of it from the system and smile to the dawn of a new day. So they find themselves stuck in this past and thinking that if they hit out and trash out, and make some noise and spew out some hatred, then that will help them. It won't. Sometimes all you gotta do is to sit in a little corner and meditate. Call on the name of Yah and shut up. Simple. Be at peace, be blessed. I will most definitely see you guys in another video.